Hello, my name is Jack. About 2 weeks ago, I left what I thought was the greatest job in the world. It was a job that brought me a lot of joy, and still kinda does, well, did. It was also a job that brought me a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of sleepless nights. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment, I would like to tell you my story. This is the story of why I quit the WWE.
We are not your kind. We are not your kind. We are not your kind. Life.
We are wild and young. Oh, and we have just begun.
Our story begins 2 weeks ago. I was called in for a meeting at WWE headquarters. By this time, only 2 months had passed since NXT premiered on the USA Network. Every show so far has been a hit, but we were struggling in the ratings department. Sure, it was easy to blame it on AEW, but we all knew it came down to a lack of star power. Something had to be done, and as always, I went in hoping I could actually make a change. Little did I know, this would be my last day under the WWE umbrella.
Greetings, and happy Roman Reigns.
Happy Roman Reigns, boss, and happy Roman Reigns to you too, Jimmy.
Jack, you will recite the traditional greeting when beckoned. It is what he desires.
You mean Vince?
Mr. McMahon.
Okay. Happy Roman Reigns.
Now, it has come to my attention that the WWE has a brand new show that recently started airing on the USA Network. It is the hottest thing in town and is doing great for our 50+ demographic. I believe it's called NXT.
Wait, what? Oh, right! I just started watching that show. Let me tell y'all, it is so good. It's so unique and fresh. What?
I must say, the women's division is quite impressive.
Hey, did you see that Keith Lee fella? Woo!
Ah,
He's massive.
He's a fine specimen.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Everyone pause. You do realize NXT has been around since 2014, right? How the hell have neither of you heard about it until now? Actually, I do recall an NXT show back in like 2010. Hey, isn't that show with the Nexus guys? I thought we canceled that show. Oh, didn't, what's his name? Fandango. Didn't Fandango win season 4? Wait, who won seasons 1 through 3? I remember one of them giving a lot of bad news. You know what? You're right. This is a new show.
Before we get down to business, I would like to hear your prospects on this unique brand. It will provide us with a clear notion of where to go next.
Well, if you ask me, I think NXT is the best show we have right now. Unlike Raw and SmackDown, every show takes place at Full Sail University in Orange County, Florida. Attendance is very small, usually a little over 400 people, which I like, as it gives the show a nice, intimate family feel. But despite its size, I would put this crowd up against any audience in wrestling today. The Full Sail crowd is always loud, and they always provide us with some of the best crowd chants in wrestling. It's the perfect platform for new talents to come in and cut their teeth on. Most of our best talents today cut their teeth in NXT before moving up to the main roster. This includes champions like Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Alexa Bliss, Finn Balor, Charlotte Flair, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Asuka, Becky Lynch, and yes, even Roman Reigns. But let's talk about the modern day NXT roster. The wrestlers on the show now are phenomenal, especially considering all the independent talent WWE has signed over the last few years. Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era are a treat to watch on a consistent basis, while superweights like Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic constantly wow the viewers with unspeakable high-flying spectacle. Main eventers like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are always stealing the show and giving the fans their money's worth. You even got international stars and fresh prospects like the Velveteen Dream. And we can't forget to mention the stacked women's division. Those women are so far ahead of any past main roster divas. In terms of talent alone, it's not even close. Back then, you'll probably see a 2-minute match full of slapping and hair pulling. Now, you'll get a 7 to 10 minute match where the women do moves and look like competent wrestlers. Women like Bayley and Sasha Banks had some incredible matches against each other. And others like Charlotte and Becky Lynch have shattered barriers and have gone so far beyond what's expected of them that they main evented WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey of all people. Most importantly, what truly makes the show is the commentary. Mauro Ranallo is a national treasure, and without a doubt, the greatest commentator in sports today. Aside from crazy one-liners and a rap reference here and there, Mauro's true gift is his intoxicating level of passion. You feel it every time he speaks, and it brings out the best in everyone he's around. On top of that, you got WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix and wrestling's own encyclopedia, Nigel McGuinness. With all of this wrapped into a 2-hour bundle on Wednesday nights, it's hard to imagine anything else beating it.
Interesting. Mike, your thoughts?
Oh, jeez. Let me guess. You don't like it. Actually, I agree with Jack. You see, I told you. What the hell did you just say? No, really. I think NXT is special. One thing this show has done is create great new characters and develop them into stars. The Revival, Andrade Cien Almas, Shinsuke Nakamura, and 2/3 of the New Day are all talents of NXT before coming to the main roster. Each one of them has seen success in their own way and continue to break ground even now. A great example that comes to mind is Bray Wyatt. When he started, he was Husky Harris, but then he soon grew into the satanic cult leader of the Wyatt family, winning championships and defeating major factions like the Shield. Fast forward years later, Bray Wyatt is wreaking havoc as the twisted host of Firefly Funhouse and the alternate personality of The Fiend. Thanks to the guidance of Triple H and the endless amount of resources provided by the Performance Center, NXT is truly a breeding ground for the next generation of sports entertainers. Wow, I'm actually shocked that you like this show. Another thing that NXT does well is take lower talents from Raw and SmackDown and make them a big deal. Tyler Breeze was floundering in mid-card obscurity, but when he went back to NXT, the lower brand, he shined. Even a main event player like Finn Balor benefited from returning to NXT and rejuvenating his passion for the sport. Talents in NXT aren't confined by scripted promos and uninspired storytelling from a bunch of SNL writers. Here, they're allowed the freedom to cut their own promos and wrestle the kind of matches they want to wrestle. It is this same formula that gave WWF the edge to beat WCW in the 1990s and brought about the Attitude Era. It is this same formula that gave birth to megastars like The Rock, D-Generation X, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it's this same formula that has turned the WWE into the billion-dollar conglomerate it is today. So when I say NXT is the best wrestling promotion in the world, I'm not exaggerating. It has some great wrestling, great characters, an incredible women's division, and some of the best wrestling on this planet. It's the perfect show for all wrestling fans.
I see. In that case, we shouldn't waste much time. We in the WWE believe it is time we take NXT to the next level. Starting today, NXT will no longer be the developmental. It will be its own brand, with its own unique face and fresh atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. This show has been killing it for years, and it deserves to be seen by as many people as possible. At the very least, the same amount of people who watch Raw and SmackDown.
And that's why starting in 2020, we will be calling up half the NXT roster.
It was at that moment, something snapped. It was almost like a new Jack emerged. No, not the wrestler. A new me. Whatever it was, let's just say it scared me more than anything I faced before. Oh my... Sir, that is a marvelous idea! Think of all the possibilities with that many people coming up. It'll reshape the very fabric of both shows as we know it.
We'll start with Shayna Baszler. We'll move her up to Raw and immediately throw her in a feud with Becky Lynch. It should do great business.
And we can move the Undisputed Era to SmackDown. Those four would take over in no time. I'm also thinking we can move some of the women to SmackDown so Bayley would have some people to fight. Imagine Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, or Dakota Kai versus Bayley.
I hear Mr. McMahon is a huge fan of Candice LeRae. She's a perfect fit for our image of women empowerment. If the stars align, we could possibly see her main event of WrestleMania with Lacey Evans, a true American masterpiece, and the real hallmark of women's evolution.
Can I ask something? I especially can't wait for Damian Priest to move up the ranks. He has all the tools to reach superstar status, and perhaps even beyond. On top of that, Pete Dunne is an excellent ring general, and could get great matches out of a broomstick. He would be a great enhancement talent. Hello? Is anyone listening to me?
But our top prospect, first and foremost, will be Keith Lee. The perfect blend of power, speed, agility, athletic ability, and charm. He'll receive an instant push to the main event and will eventually dethrone the beast, Brock Lesnar, to become a world champion. This way, he will be the perfect obstacle for Roman Reigns.
Excuse me! With all due respect, do we even have plans for one of these call-ups, let alone half the NXT roster? Well, I don't know, Jimmy. Isn't that your job? Yeah, you know what? It is my job. So I should know firsthand what you're suggesting is not only absurd, long-term, it's going to harm the product. We've been rating NXT of their talent for years now, and outside of a small few, we've seen little success out of it. Talents like Ember Moon, Sanity, The Ascension, Apollo Crews, The Iconics, and No Way Jose rarely get TV time, and all they're doing is taking up space in catering. We've seen it time and time again where these NXT prospects get called up with tons of momentum and immediately lose all the hype they have within weeks. And that's because the casual audience doesn't know who they are. We don't give them hype videos, we don't give them promos, yet we're expecting them to make a huge splash the moment they enter the arena. I remember when we used to promote wrestlers with video packages for weeks before they debuted. But now all we do is tweet? Most of our fans aren't even subscribed to the WWE Network, and we're expecting a tweet to make people care? This over-reliance on social media to compensate for the lack of storytelling, character building, and direction is an anchor to our talent now on the main roster. And it will be the same for the NXT call-ups. Because all it takes is for Vince McMahon to grow sour on them one time, and they're either given a new gimmick that doesn't complement their skills, or they're stuck in catering. Maybe making an appearance on main event once in a while. Our system is broken, and until we fix it, any NXT call-up we make is destined to fail. Alright, Jimmy, what do you suggest we do? Easy. Just let them stay on NXT. Let the talent flourish where they're most appreciated. Make NXT its own entity with its own rules that set it apart from the usual WWE shows. Continue introducing fresh, new faces every week and let them tell their stories. That's how Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, Matt Riddle, and Dream realized their full potentials. They broke ground their way. You don't need to rely on social media. Just show more video packages. Give these men and women as much promo time as they can get. Even if they fail at first, we have coaches in place to train them and provide guidance in areas they need. Give them more freedom inside the ring to show off moves we've never seen before, just like we've seen with talent like Sami Zayn and Ricochet. Promote the brand as an equal to Raw and SmackDown. Before long, we won't need to call them up to get noticed. They'll bring the fans to them. The sign of any successful promotion is its ability to grow its audience and draw in new fans from all aspects of life. NXT can be that brand, but only if we allow it to be. What do you think, boss?
I must admit, you make a lot of fair points, Jack.
Yeah, Jimmy, he's right. We really should consider giving NXT.
But it's clear you have no idea how business works.
Yeah, you're clearly out of your league, Jimmy boy. Stick to writing, kid, and leave the heavy lifting to the businessmen. Mike, come on. Back me up on this one. These massive call-ups are just crippling NXT and forcing the crew to start from scratch over and over and over again. And yes, I'm sure HBK and Triple H can adapt, but there are only so many times you can come back from the brink of death. NXT is already spreading itself thin. It's got 2 hours each week, it's getting more takeovers, and we didn't even mention NXT UK. If you take away all their top stars, you'll just end up overtaxing the roster and the production crew. That lowers morale and creates an atmosphere where people don't want to come to work. Just like the main roster. What are you talking about? Everyone loves working here. With the WWE, baby. Oh, cut the crap, Mike. No one likes working here. Everyone's miserable.
Jack, you're speaking nonsense. The company has made more money in the last 5 years. More than it ever has in its entire existence. Our TV deals with USA and Fox alone average $1.5 billion. And on top of that, we can't forget our deal with Saudi Arabia. Combined, we are looking at $2 billion in the next 5 years. The average contracted wrestler is making 6 digits a year. Think about the lives we are changing. Think about the families being fed. This is the very definition of a dream job. And anyone who's unhappy, anyone who complains, they are nothing more than spoiled, purposeless millennials who have no drive to be anything in life.
Jimmy, maybe it's time you realize the truth. What truth? You're living in a fantasy world. Me? Fantasy world. I'm the only realist at this table. I'm the only one who cares about the prosperity of the company. All you two care about is the money. Okay, Jack, that's not fair. Oh, so magically you're just getting my name right all of a sudden. Listen, If we're talking about truth here, here's the real truth. You corporate suits don't give a damn about the wrestlers. You never did, and you never will. They're just pawns in your little scheme to create this godlike image for the WWE brand. I literally heard Stephanie McMahon say that WWE is just as big as Disney. Disney. I mean, no offense, but the big dog wouldn't last 2 seconds in the ring with the mouse. And you know it. I'm pretty sure it was a joke. I mean, no one can really be...
Mrs. McMahon doesn't joke.
I mean, you can't be on top forever. The main roster spends 300 days a year away from their loved ones to travel the world with no days off or any guaranteed health insurance. And the only time they get a break is when they break a body part. They're overworked, overproduced, and yet oddly underappreciated for how much work they put in. And what's it all for, really? To entertain the masses? No. It's to entertain an audience of one. And that audience of one is Vince McMahon.
You will address him properly or face consequences.
Vince McMahon is not the genius he used to be. He may still do good business here and there, but to say he's out of touch doesn't begin to cover it. He is a senile old man who's lived in a self-made bubble since the 80s. Everything new that happens in the world is done largely outside of his understanding. He is so far distant from not just the youth of today, but reality in general. He doesn't get what people like in 2019. In fact, he didn't get what people liked in 1997, but at least he was willing to admit it. Nowadays, he has such a stranglehold on the product, you can't even breathe off cue. He's lost his grip on the essentials that make a show must see. Somehow, he's regressed in his thinking, and it's starting to show on a weekly basis. Despite everything he's done for us, he's just unfit for his job at this point. He's always been slow to adapt, slow to admit when he's wrong, slow to learn lessons, and these days, it seems he stopped learning entirely. And until he leaves, the shows will continue to lose viewers, and your audience numbers will continue to dwindle. When you stop learning, you start dying. And as long as Vince stays on top, the WWE will continue to die. You know what, Jimmy? I'll give it to you. That was a hell of a speech. No, really, it was. What I like most about it, though, is that instead of making us look bad, you made yourself look like a jackass. Oh, whatever. You corporate suits in your... No, you had your chance to talk. Now it's my turn, and here's the real truth. This generation of wrestlers is by far the worst batch of untalented hacks I have ever seen in my life. You can't teach them anything. They're all entitled, narcissistic, unfocused, lazy, and they all want everything given to them when they want it. Social media has turned all these wrestlers into egotists who can't take criticism and throw hissy fits every time things don't go their way. A lot of wrestlers are so privileged to a point where it's laughable. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the people inside the ring and the fans in the audience. They are all marks. Marks for attention, marks for their spots, and most of all, marks for themselves. What happened to the days of just doing business for business' sake? The Terry Funks and the Dusty Roses never complained about their storylines. All they cared about was who was going over and when their paychecks cleared. Nowadays, everyone, including the women, want to be a world champion. Sorry to burst your bubble, Jack, but not everyone is meant to be a world champion. A man like Johnny Gargano may fare greatly in front of a small Full Sail crowd of 400, but the moment you give him a main event push, the fans will instantly turn on him because he's not believable. People like Johnny Wrestling will never sell out a show like WrestleMania. And you know what? That's okay. He can help build the man who will put butts in seats and still make a lot of money in the process. That's how the business works. It's like The Rock said, know your role, do your job, and shut your damn mouth. But that's bullcrap. Brahma bullcrap. Johnny Gargano was heavily featured on the last 11 takeovers, and each one of them drew arena-sized crowds, rivaling the usual size of Raw and SmackDown each week. You can't just make a blanket statement like that. How do you know someone like Gargano won't sell out WrestleMania if we never give him a fair shot? Oh, you mean the fair shots we gave to Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins? Yeah, how did that work out for us? Oh, that's right. It didn't move the needle one bit. And you know why? It's because they're not draws. No logical human being will spend hundreds of hard-earned cash to see a man throw pancakes for hours. That's why eventually the belt went back to who? Brock Lesnar. Just like eventually the Universal Championship will go back to Roman Reigns. Why complain though? Kofi Kingston got his WrestleMania moment, and nothing can take that away from him. Seth Rollins is living the life, making millions and marrying the biggest draw in our company. Do you know how many wrestlers from past generations would kill for a 6-digit paycheck, even if it meant wrestling on the pre-show? There's no shame in working the mid-cards ever so often. You're still a part of the show. The WWE is like a band. When one of us looks and sounds bad, we all look and sound bad. So we need to protect each other, and most of all, protect the top draws that matter. It's what's best for business. But you know Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns won't be around forever. Who's gonna be able to replace them if we're always feeding them potential main event players? How do you ever expect to create stars with that concept? It's what needs to be done, Jack. We're losing fans every single week. What's being done isn't working.
Enough! I've listened to you banter long enough. We've made our decision, and that's final.
Then, just tell me you have a plan for at least one call-up. I'll take anyone at this point.
Why, of course. That was never in doubt. We've always had plans to create a new face of the company.
Thank you. Who is it?
The WWE itself.
What? What?
My fellow colleagues, it's time you realize the true plan of our business model. There are no stars in the WWE. The only true star is the brand itself. For decades, we've ran our business on a central figure, and while we've seen reasonable amounts of success, it's proven to be fallible in the long run. When John Cena left us, we tried to make Roman Reigns that new central figure, but soon realized he was incapable of filling that role. But despite the fan backlash, we noticed an increase in our social media numbers. We started landing sponsorships with companies like Snickers and Mattel. Our stock prices rose. We signed a multi-million-dollar deal with a prince, and then we got offered $1 billion by Fox to showcase SmackDown every Friday night. It then hit us. We no longer need a central figure.
Oh my god. It all makes sense now. All these random NXT call-ups with no long-term plan, all these talents stuck in catering. You're not trying to create stars. You're deliberately sabotaging NXT. Sir, is this true?
We do what we feel is best for business. No one can be bigger than the WWE.
You no good sons of bitches. You've always known about NXT. You were just pretending not to get info out of me. Whoa, hold on. Yeah, okay, we were playing you a little. We do know about NXT. A lot about it, actually. But I'm just as shocked as you are. Sir, please tell me this is a joke, right?
Does it look like I'm joking?
That's the reason you gave it 2 hours on Wednesdays. That's the reason you increased the number of takeovers each year. You never intended to showcase the brand to a wider audience. You're making them exhaust their resources. Then once they're weak, You plan to swoop in and raid them of all their best talent.
And with the 2-hour schedule, it will be harder to rebuild. There will be less weekly rotations and even less time to build to take
But
place.
sir, with all due respect, this plan seems flawed. You have to know Triple H will eventually adapt. They practically have a whole new roster ready to go in the Performance Center. It will eventually rebuild itself.
Oh, I'm aware. Let's just say we plan to kill 2 birds with 1 bazooka.
What? That's not even... AEW! They thought this out. We could have easily moved NXT to Tuesday nights, give it a live primetime spot, and still maintain the 1-hour format, but you deliberately put it up against All Elite Wrestling to stop both companies from growing. You knew it would divide the audience.
In the end, they'll just drive each other out of business, and then we'll swoop in to pick up the scraps.
This isn't right. This is wrong. You're killing your future. Everything NXT represents today is what the WWF was all about during the Monday Night Wars. We used to set the trends, not follow them. Fans used to stand proud for this company, even when the rest of society didn't. Now fans are ashamed to even mention WWE in public. We become what we hate. We become the oppressor. We become WCW. Don't you see that?
Times are different now. Everything we do to survive. Right or wrong, is what's best for business.
Mike, say something. Mike. It has to be done. Okay. I see how it is.
I'm glad we came to an understanding.
I quit. What did you just say? I said I quit. I'm done. Okay, I get it. You're upset. But you of all people know, this is not how it works. You can't just quit. You signed a contract. That means you must fulfill your duties until that contract expires. Otherwise, you'll face major consequences. Yeah, well, I got nothing else to lose. You've already killed my faith in this company. I won't let you kill my love for wrestling. No, Jack, come on. Don't do this. Don't throw away your career over some indie-rific millennials. Listen to me. You can't change their minds. Even if you delay the call-ups now, they'll eventually have to move up. It's the natural progression of things. It's how it works. Listen, just come sit down. Let's put this behind us and laugh about it over some drinks. Come on, guys. Let's not fight like this.
Mike, you're one of the smartest people I know. And you're too stupid to realize he was gonna fire me anyways.
Wait, what? No, you can't fire him. He's the best. I mean, one of the best writers we got. Jack, come on. Boss man, tell him.
Jack's contract expires early next year. We knew ahead of time he would oppose us. And as I said, we do what we feel is best for business. I'm afraid we can't have any naysayers on our team. That's why we've already hired a new writer who'll be stepping in to Jack's position the first week of December.
Well, consider this my 2-week notice.
Okay, this can't be real. This is not happening. Guys, okay, the joke's over with. Ha ha ha. Cut scene. No, come on, guys. Let's not do this. Jack, get back here. Jack. And that was my last day inside headquarters. Not long after that, I cleaned out my office and traveled back home to Houston. It was actually nice to get a vacation for once. I got to spend time with my family and not have to wake up to a senile old man screaming at me on a daily basis. It felt good just to be normal. I don't know what the future holds, but for what it's worth, thank you for listening to me. I hope you learned something. Jimmy? I mean, Jack? Jack! Wait, don't hang up. Please don't hang up. Listen, I've been trying to reach you for some time now. I need to tell you something. I'm not coming back, Mike. I'm moving to Orange County. Where NXT is? Right. I've decided to change departments. What? Are they sending you down there to speed up the process? No, it was my decision. Look, I called Hunter the day after our meeting. We talked and we discussed a lot of things, and he had a spot open on his team. I immediately applied for it, and I got the call today. I got the job. Why are you telling me this, Mike? Because I want you to know I'm gonna save NXT. What? We're going to save NXT, Jack! Sure, things don't look too good right now. AEW continues to still have the audience each week, and the main roster is set to make call-ups anytime soon now. But there's hope. We still have the most dangerous weapon in our arsenal. And it's sad that it took me this long to realize it. The fans. The fans are what made NXT the most dynamic, entertaining product in wrestling today. Its combination of simple, layered storytelling with incredible in-ring performances has created such an unbreakable bond with the audience that they're willing to go to war with us anytime, any place, anywhere. They have no reason to hijack the show because it's exactly what they want to see. Every time NXT cashes in on a big moment, the fans always buy in. We have their trust, and that trust will be the key to bringing about change in the WWE. If we can maintain that trust in our audience, they'll feel comfortable talking about our show to others. Next thing you know, we're selling out arenas and drawing more viewers than Raw and SmackDown combined. We'll get so big so fast that WWE will have no choice but to realize how out of touch their business models are. Only then will we have the power to shape Raw and SmackDown in the years to come. It won't happen overnight. It might not even happen next year, but it's going to happen. It's just gonna take some time. I know you don't trust a corporate suit like me. Honestly, I don't blame you. The WWE has crapped on the fans' trust for years and have made it almost impossible to earn back. But if there's anything that can restore their faith, it's NXT. First and foremost, NXT offers a commitment to telling a cohesive story on both an individual and a roster-wide basis. Granted, it's a lot easier to be consistent with only 1 hour of TV per week, but Triple H has proven he can adapt to almost any situation. He surrounded himself with a core group of legends like Shawn Michaels and William Regal, who share his passion to facilitate change. So even if he fails, he has people who can pick up the slack and provide NXT with a foundation to succeed. All in all, what matters most is that the events are fun. We don't see 5 or 10 storylines that occasionally go nowhere and repetitive matches each week. There are actual consequences that carry over from match to match, and once in a while will intersect with everything else going on. So it feels less like a show where the scripting overwhelms every performance and more like a platform that lets its biggest stars sink or swim. And that is the biggest problem Raw and SmackDown suffer from, a lack of self-awareness. Fans are not willing to commit to certain stars or stories because they've been conditioned to ideas and pushes being dropped altogether in the blink of an eye, and characters showing no depth beyond one-dimensional personalities. All these mistakes boil down to one thing: a failure to listen and adapt to crowd reactions. When a guy like Velveteen Dream, who initially was a villain, started garnering positive reactions, NXT ran with it and allowed him to maximize on both his potential and the reactions he was getting. It's the same kind of formula used to make legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, a concept that NXT thrives on to create memorable storylines and build to blockbuster matches. This concept in living form is called NXT TakeOver, a special event that reminds us of what we loved about WWE. Every takeover gives us a glimpse at how great the shows could be. And that's why I have faith we can fix this company. All we need is for fans like you to have faith too.
Well, good luck. I'll be watching.
Alright, this should do it. I'm an NXT employee now.
It seems so. Your work will be missed, Michael.
You never liked me anyways, but that's okay.
I am curious, though. After everything we've given you, why leave?
Who says I'm leaving? NXT is still WWE, right?
Preposterous. There's only one true WWE, Mike.
Yeah. And it's not Raw or SmackDown. It's NXT.